Hello, this is Tim Farley of Armbar Audio with another edition of Impressions of Impact for the episode which aired April 12th, 2019. We get a recap opening the show. LAX seemed to be a bit doubtful of their feud with the Lucha Brothers, showing the Lucha Brothers putting them through a table after LAX lost to Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards. We see Sami Callihan with OVE, including new member Madman Fulton, beating on Rich Swann, and then Tommy Dreamer came to his aid with a chair. We see Taya Valkyrie and Johnny Impact using underhanded tactics on Cage. Johnny also tells Killer Kross he will get a title shot. Madison Rayne is back and lost a number one contenders match against Jordynne Grace. Kevin Sullivan tells his daughter, Rosemary, that it's on her head that Allie has been taken because she made a deal with the devil. Scarlett Bordeaux has aligned herself with Fallah Bahh, and Gail Kim is coming out of retirement for Tessa Blanchard. And Tessa is extremely confident that she will place Gail back on the retirement shelf. With that, we start the show. Mr. Impact Moose comes out adorned in a gold and black bedazzled robe. He seems to be finding his character outside of ex-football player, which is awesome. Wentz of the Rascals and then roughing him up a bit. After a scuffle, he places Wentz on the top rope and raises his arms, but his ignorance lets Wentz get in a jumping head scissors off the second rope. Wentz with a Asai moonsault, but Moose catches him. Moose looks for a lawn dart into the post, but Wentz falls back and pushes Moose head first into the post. Back in the ring and two running uppercuts to the corner to Moose from Wentz. Wentz goes for a third, but Moose runs after him and drop kicks him in the opposite corner. Then a running delayed dropkick by Moose. Moose takes over with a large Beal throw across the ring. Moose playing with Wentz standing on his head. Moose takes it to the outside and looks for an apron powerbomb, but Wentz grabs the ropes and escapes. He goes for a penalty kick, but Moose catches it and slams his face first on the apron. Moose tells the fans to move and acts like he's going to do a move onto or over the guardrail, but throws Wentz back in the ring. Wentz with a quick splash over the top to Moose, running drop kicks, and then a running knee in the corner. Rascal Buddies. Wentz is in the ring first and catches Moose through the second and top rope with some running boots. Moose catches a running Wentz and drapes his throat over the top rope and follows with the no jackhammer needed spear for the win. I like this storyline as Moose is building a character outside of ex-football player, and the Rascals continue to improve and get TV time. RVD talks about his return to Impact and possibly getting some gold along the way, which is kind of exciting. I think RVD has another run in him. Madison Rayne is interviewed by Melissa Santos. Madison is glad to be back and says she knows the competition is stacked, but her goal is to be a 6-time Knockouts champion. This brings out Tessa Blanchard, who compares her to Gail, trying to relive her glory days. Madison says she's 2-0 against Tessa, so her glory days are now, and offers a third match to Tessa, and Blanchard says bring it on. Su Yung comes down with her undead bridesmaids and maid of honor for her match against Rosemary. The match starts as Rosemary rushes Sue's corner and blasts her with forearms. Rosemary knocks down two bridesmaids off the apron. Rosemary takes over early and kicks Sue off the apron, but Sue falls and is caught by the bridesmaids who place her back up onto the apron. Rosemary locks in the upside down. Rosemary misses a spear in the corner. A single leg Boston Crab is a running knee from Rosemary for 2. A German suplex followed by a spear by Rosemary incites the bridesmaids onto the apron, and Kiera Hogan, the girl on fire, comes down to pull them off. Rosemary steps out of the ring and starts arguing with Kiera, and the bridesmaids attack and the bell sounds. The bridesmaids throw Rosemary in, and Su Yung locks in the mandible claw and hits a panic switch as the bridesmaids force Kiera to watch. Then a panic switch to Kiera sees the evil Su Yung stand tall. This feud reminds me of Mankind versus Undertaker in female form. Rosemary isn't wrestling as crisp and polished as she did before her injury. I'm hoping she gets back to 100%. We see Willie Mack sitting on some steps, and Killer Kross sits next to him. and asks him if he likes jazz music, saying jazz is improvisational yet deliberate. He says every member of the band must be perfect as played and everyone hears it. You can't go back and rewrite the song, and tells Willie to think about his future. Willie doesn't seem fazed. Killer Kross continues to be the devil in everyone's ear around Impact, and I love it. A promo for the Deaners play, they make fun of hip hoppy beer. They seem like a cheap knockoff of Beer Money. I say cheap knockoff because I love Beer Money. The promo is actually kind of funny. The North, aka Monster Express, consisting of Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, come out to face two jobbers named El Reverso and Sheldon Jean. Josh Alexander tosses. This match was just Josh Alexander showing his wrestling technique all over the ring. He's really given Ethan Page direction and a new motivation. The end came when Josh had Reverso in a rack position and then tossed him to Ethan into a power slam. The tag team is impressive, and picking up Josh Alexander is a win for Impact, who looks crisp and technical with a lot of power. Gail Kim is interviewed with Melissa Santos. Gail said she's headed to the ring to watch Madison versus Tessa, and says if Tessa has something to say, she could say it to Gail's